Everybody has some peculiarity, isn't that so? Everybody has something weird about them. Well, this fella, he loved the way Bhagavan Shri Krishna dressed. He loved it, the makeup of Bhagavanji. He loved the outfits and he loves the mukut. And so Raja Pondarik, he always looked like who? Like Bhagavan Shri Krishna. He wore his pitambar dhoti, yellow silk dhoti. He wore that, and he always, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, his flute was, not again that top, right? His instrument was the flute or the basuri. He had a basuri. And Bhagavanji's mukut always had a peacock feather. He had that on his crown. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the manifestation of Bhagavan Vishnu. And so what was his weapon? The Sudarshan Chakra. So Raja Pondarik, he carried around a Sudarshan Chakra that looked like Bhagavan Vishnu's. And he had his shank with him. Bhagavan always had the shank with him. And you see in his hand, you see the shank? The shank is the notch, the shell. And then what else did he have? He had, you see, the gada there, the mace. You see, Bhagavanji had the mace. And in his hand is the Padma, the lotus flower. This Bhagavanji is giving Ashirvad, but he loves the Padma, the lotus flower. And so this is the way the Raja, from morning to night, he dressed like who? Like Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So when you look at this Raja, his outer appearance imitates who? Bhagavan. You all sleeping or you awake? Bhagavan Krishna. He always looked like Bhagavan Krishna, beautifully dressed. And the outside looks like Bhagavan Shri Krishna, but the inside, devotees, complete opposite. He imitated the outward appearance of Bhagavan, but he forgot about all these things that we find in Bhagavad Gita. There's a couple chapters that Bhagavanji tells Arjun all the descriptive qualities that he has, but this fella, he didn't embrace any of that. Outwardly, he looked like Bhagavan, but inwardly, the total opposite, miles and miles apart. And so he was a great rubber stamp, he was a great knuckly, he was a great imposter. He was a great, what we call, a $3 bill. He was, by appearance, but inwardly, nothing matched who? Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he observed, he saw this, and it is nice, it's nice when we see good things, we see good qualities in the individual, and we imitate, we make the embrace and make our own. Bhagavan Shri Krishna was not mindful that this fella was dressed and looked like him, And I remember this Panditji by the name of Pandit Ramdat Vyas. You all hear about Pandit Ramdat Vyas? From Shigwanis, Trinidad. And Panditji was so eloquent, Panditji was so simple, Panditji was just a real Pandit, I tell you, a real Brahman Pandit. He was so accessible and so embracing that when he came to New York to read Yajna, I emptied my schedule. I had to be there. And one day, I remember on the first day of this Ramayana Yajna, Panditji, the puja was late, the folks were late, everybody was late, and the Panditji only had half an hour to read Katha that night. Half an hour. And usually he would read for maybe an hour and 15, hour and a half. And that night I was not happy. Every other time I listened to Panditji, I was always happy. I was in a beautiful place. That night I felt like I was cheated because he only read Katha for half an hour. And so the way the Panditji did explanation and the singing and the talking between, oh my God. So as a young Pandit, I looked at that and I did what? I tried to do what Panditji had done. I tried to copy his way of operating, the way he read his katha, the mannerism that the Panditji had. I copied that because I was impressed with that. I was impressed. Raja Pondarik was only impressed with the outer appearance of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. He didn't want to know, or he didn't want to embrace anything else but that. And one day, sometimes things get to our head. Sometimes we get so caught up with ourselves that our thinking gets warped. We don't think properly. And so that Raja, having been dressed like Shri Krishna for so long, that he proclaimed, Rajas, the kings, they're allowed to make proclamations. And so he made a proclamation. What was his proclamation? He said that from today onwards, I am Shri Krishna. He said, I am Shri Krishna. Look, don't you see how I look? I am Shri Krishna. I am the Lord of this entire world, he said. Could you imagine that? Well, if you laughed at the king having made that statement, what would happen, sis? Off with the head, right? Off with the head. And so, even when he made this statement, Bhagwan was not bothered. Bhagwan was not bothered. It didn't make him upset or anything. It didn't make Bhagwan upset. Bhagwan just allowed him to do what he was doing, because it was not causing any harm. It's just his ego. And that reminded me of another katha that I read in Srimad Bhagavad Puran. And I want to tell you about this individual by the name of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu, there were two brothers, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. They were manifestations of Jai Vijay, the gatekeepers of heaven. And they were given a shop by the Sanat Kumars that they would, because they did not allow these young rishis to have access to Vaikuntha, to the heavenly regions. They were given shop, and the shop was that you would have to take manifestation upon the earth. And so these two Jaya Vijay came as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. They were born in demonic race, and they became enemies of who? Vishnu Bhagwan. And so Vishnu Bhagwan had already put an end to the other brother Hiranyaksha, and this brother became more angry. He wanted to take revenge, and he did great tapasya. And who usually do they pray to? Does anybody knows? To Brahma Bhagwan. And so he did thousands of years of tapasya. It was so incredible, so fantastic that Brahmaji appeared. What did he ask for? Do we all know? And it tells us here, it says here, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva Yadi Dasyasya Bhitmatan Varame Varadotama Bhute Bhyaswadri Srishtebhyo Mrityurma Bhun Mama Prabhu Nantar Varhir Divanaktam Anyasmadapi Tayudehe Na Bhumao Nambare Mrityur Na Narayana Mrigairapi. And here this individual by the name of Hiranyakashipu, his wish, his desire was what? His desire was that he would not die ever. He did not want to die ever. He says, Kisi se bhi meri mrityu na ho. In whatever form, whatever manner, whatever shape, death should never come to whom? To me. Death should never visit me. And he had all these stipulations. No man, no animal, not inside, not outside, not daytime, I highlighted all these passages, but there's too much to read here, too much to read. And he didn't want to what? He did not want to die. He did not want to die. He wanted to become who? Bhagwan. He wanted to become Bhagwan. And so, Brahmaji is always creating problems for who? For Vishnu Bhagwan. Because Bhagwanji was labeled by Hiranyakashipu as the Vardhan Data, the Shreshth Vardhan Data, because amongst all those Bhagwanji who gives Vardhan or who fulfills desire, Brahmaji is going to be the greatest amongst them, because he gives the most incredible, he fulfills the most incredible wishes that becomes highly problematic, causing Bhagwan Vishnu to do what? To take avatar and come upon the earth. Many times it is because of who? Brahmaji. And so Hiranyakashipu, who was also the father of who? Prahalad, he declared himself. After he was given this boon, this blessing of Brahmaji, he declared himself to be what? Lord Master of the entire world, because he became the great conqueror, even so great that he went to him in the loop and he took the throne of Indra Devata, and he became supreme devotees, chasing away Indra and all the devatas. So he became the Raja of the three worlds, and he declared himself who? He declared himself God before. Could you imagine that? Does that remind you of who? Of Raja Pondarik. Raja Pondarik declared himself God, and so did Hiranyakashipu. And so Raja Pondarik, he existed, and he realized that nothing was happening until one day he went to the Jhopri. He went to the hut of this Brahman. They're always picking on the Brahman, I don't know why. And so they went to the hut of the Brahman by the name of Sudamaji. They went on he sent his captain of the army, they went with the soldiers, they went to the home of Sudamaji, this poor, and this skinny, and this feeble, this Brahman who was the most noble of all creatures, the most wonderful, because he was so dedicated and devoted to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. They arrested this devotee by the name of Sudama, and they took him to the dungeons of Raja Pondarik, and they what? They locked him up. And they began to torture him. They began to suffer. Could you imagine? For no reason whatsoever. Bhagwan was not upset when he became an impostor, when the Raja dressed like him. Bhagwan was not upset when he declared himself to be God. But Bhagwan surely became upset when he caused harm to whom? To whom devotees? To his bhakt, to his devotee. And here in this doha, Goswamiji tells us devotees. Bolo Ram, Bolo Ram, Bolo Ram.